We continue our look into the ghost's ascending rise in the horror movie ranks with Koeiden, or Ghost Stories in Japanese. Koeiden is a 1964 Japanese anthology horror film directed by Masaki Kobayashi. It is based on stories from Lafiado Hirin's collections of Japanese folk tales, mainly Koeiden, stories and studies of strange things, for which it is named after. The film consists of 4 separate and unrelated stories. Koeiden is an archaic translation of Koeiden, meaning ghost story. It won the Special Jury Prize at the 1965 Cannes Film Festival and received an Academy Award nomination for Best Foreign Language Film. During this time frame, we would also see the rise of grindhouse cinema and double feature films. This was the presentation of 2 movies back to back in one showing, or having a smaller feature opening up for the main film, which was popularized during the 1970s. As often was the case, many of these grindhouse films were horror movies, and films which had graphically sexual content in them or real bloody violence. One of the earliest ghost films in this genre of cinema is 2000 Maniacs, a 1964 American splatter film directed and written by Herschel Gordon Lewis. It follows a group of northern tourists who are savagely tortured and murdered during a Confederate celebration of a small southern community's centennial. The film starred 1963 Playboy playmate Connie Mason. It was the second part of what the director's fans later dubbed the Blood Trilogy, a trio of films started with 1963's Blood Feast and ending with 1965's Color Me Blood Red. The film has also been noted by critics as an early example of Southern caricature in grindhouse films, as well as for its sensationalizing of national perceptions between the North and the South. The film was remade in 2005 as 2001 Maniacs. The story of the film was inspired by the 1947 Lerner and Loewe musical Brigadoon. In the same year, we would get another entry into the Corman Poe series with Tomb of the Ligera, an American International Pictures horror film produced in the UK by Alta Vista Productions. Starring the legendary Vincent Price and Elizabeth Shepard, it tells the story of a man haunted by the spirit of his dead wife and her effect on his second marriage. The screenplay by Robert Towne was based upon the tale Ligera by the American author Edgar Allan Poe. The film was directed by Roger Corman and was the last in his series of 8 films loosely based on the works of Edgar Allan Poe. Tomb of Ligera was filmed at the Castle Ark Priory and other locations with a mostly English cast, and is marked among the Corman Poe cycle for its atypical outdoor scenery and opulent settings. And finally, we close things off on a lighter note with Blackbeard's Ghost, a 1968 live-action fantasy comedy Disney film starring Peter Ustinova, Dean Jones, and Susan Pleshette, directed by Robert Stevenson. It is based upon the novel of the same name by Ben Stahl and was shot at the Walt Disney Studios. The Disney Channel aired this film until the late 1990s. Join us next time as our travel shows us what overseas horror has to say about ghosts.